were talking about Wisconsin on Tuesday potentially as a turning point in the Republican race if Trump loses, if he loses big there. So if you talk to the Sanders people, they're saying Wisconsin's a turning point in the Democratic race. They're saying Sanders is going to come from behind, going to win, maybe win big there. He's going to get momentum for New York, for Pennsylvania, for some of these bigger states still to come. What do you make of that argument the Sanders campaign is putting out there?
I think he needs to buy a big victory. It can't be just a small victory. Now, he's spending the type of money in Wisconsin. He's outspending her 6-1.
Wow.
That sort of type of figures that he did in New Hampshire where he bought a landslide. I think he kind of needs a landslide to have an impact. Just a 52-48 doesn't do it because it looks too much like Michigan, and then what would happen? But it's a turning point only if it does lead to him pulling an upset in New York. By the way, I just want to two quick takeaways from Rachel's interviews. Number one, boy, does Hillary Clinton want to run against Donald Trump. You sort of almost, she seems almost enthusiastic about it. It's an odd way of saying it, but she's more animated in a way that I've seen her when contrasting against anybody else. And the second thing is, Sanders is getting cranky about so many process questions, but the problem is, are his campaign and him on the same page? This happens a lot. Campaign says one thing, Rachel or myself or somebody else presents it to Sanders, and he throws his aides under the bus. It's sort of it's just a pattern I've noticed with Sanders.
And Rachel, the process questions and his reaction to you jumped out at me too, because in part you're asking him something. It's obviously more than legitimate. This is a guy who's been out there saying, "Look, the key to my campaign, the key to this revolution, is we're going to get record voter turnout." He talks about process as part of his message. Well, there hasn't been record voter turnout on the Democratic side. He talks about 50-state strategy. You pressed him on that and said, well, why aren't you competing in Mississippi, some of these other states? And he says, well, in a campaign, you have to be practical. You have to make choices, which has always been the argument that political professionals have made against a 50-state strategy.
And now there's the third part of that, which is that his campaign is starting to say, and he's starting to say, well, I may not win with the people, but maybe I can get the pledged, the super delegates to cross over and put it over the top. That's a hard sell.
That's where it has come to. Rachel Maddow, Chuck Todd, thank you both for sticking around. Appreciate that.
What a night.
And it really was. It really was. A lot to talk about
Sleep till
after these last few hours. And up next, MSNBC's Town Hall with Donald Trump, the one we have